Good afternoon. I'm Phil Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures. So I want to give you a silver update here. So looking at silver futures, because yesterday we closed right at the top end of the range looking for a potential breakout to the upside. Silver futures got up to 33.91 on the July contract. Before the early hours here of the trading session, we got down to 32.74. That trading range is about $1.20. The average true range is about 85 cents. So this is a bit of an outlier, and silver is one of the laggards in the precious metals complex here. So what had happened is that you had this GOP House bill that is set to gut subsidies of solar power stocks. So the bill would gut former President Joe Biden's landmark climate law, causing these clean energy stocks to plummet. So the bill would end these subsidies for green energy years earlier than planned, making it nearly impossible for U.S. solar and battery manufacturers to qualify for these tax incentives. So it requires them to start any projects within 60 days of the legislation being brought into law. So some analysts believe that the final bill may not be as damaging to the industry. The bill's passage has sparked some concerns among clean energy if these U.S. tax credits are ended. So just remember that solar makes up a large portion of a lot of the demand for silver, and that's what it's one of its primary uses here. So if you start to gut these subsidies, you might see that solar demand really start to come off, at least the manufacturing and things like that. So that's the reason why we had sold off. Now we came down to a critical trend line, if you got the chart pack that I sent out, where it said, here's a minor support downward trend line, and the market tagged that number and starting to move back up here. So I thought this guy was gonna make silver great again. I didn't know that he was gonna attack us here in the solar and drive this silver market a little bit crazy here this morning. So we'll see what happens with these markets, but real constructive that downward trend line had held. If you look at the next major level of support, it's really pocket support, 32.11 down to about the 31.78 range. And then that pocket resistance, 33.65 on up to 33.92. A break above that level could really open the gates here for a potential move higher. If you'd like to open up an account, shoot an email to info@bluelinefutures.com. Don't hesitate to give us a call, and be sure to register for the chart pack where they outline some of these key levels of support. Remember, futures and option trading does involve risk of loss, and it may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.